Thank you again for joining me for another short and sweet session of chair yoga here on Lala Moves. So welcome to our edition of what I call chair version of Yumminess or something like that. I just realized while I was sitting for hours and hours in front of a computer, I'm sure many of you can relate, my body was aching, my lower back was tight, my shoulders were tight. So I just did some series of movements and flows that I hope that you can also enjoy while you're sitting. Bend to the side, keep your chest exhale as you breathe. And then twist, bring both feet up. One more time. All right, let's start. For our first pose, we need to know where our tailbone is. You know, it's at the end of our spine. Take a moment to find where it is. Anyway, you're at home and you can just, like go over your spine and then find the end. And that's why they call it the tailbone. Okay. Because it's at the end of a major spine, which is major bone structure, which is the spine. Okay. Maybe it will help if you can make your hands into a fist and then bring your pointing finger out and then just rest your palm, your fist on your tailbone. Okay. And start to point the tailbone forward. And that means your lower back is now rounding. Now, point the tailbone straight to the floor, okay, and that allows you to make your spine long and tall. Now, start to point your tailbone to the back, which means your spine starts to arch. Let's do that a couple of times. Point the tailbone to the center, and then point the tailbone to the back as you round the spine. Point the tailbone down toward the floor, make the spine long and tall. Now, point the tailbone to the back, arch the spine. That means that you're also, opening your heart center and just drawing a letter C with your spine. Center again, and then round the spine as you point the tailbone to the front. This is also what you call the cat and cow pose. When you point the tailbone to the back, you're allowing the spine to create a letter C. That's allowing your heart to stay open. This is the cow pose, and you usually add an inhale here. And then when you point your tailbone down, your spine is long and tall. This is what's happening when you're in mountain pose. Now, when you point your tailbone to the front, allowing your spine to round, you can even tuck your chin toward your chest and really feel your shoulder blades spreading apart. This is called the cow pose. It's usually accompanied by an exhale. So this is yoga. So we're syncing our breathing with the movement. When you come to cow pose, inhale first, point the tailbone to the back, arch the spine, open the heart area. You can even hold the back of the chair. Point the tailbone down for mountain pose or Tadasana. Now, when you point the tailbone to the front to cow pose, exhale. Mountain pose, inhale. Mountain pose, exhale. Mountain pose, inhale. Mountain pose, exhale. Now, notice where your rib cage is. That bony structure that protects your heart, your mid-back. Okay, imagine that we're using that rib cage to stir around the hips. So, you don't have to hold your rib cage, but just go ahead and enjoy. And really make the biggest circle, draw the biggest circle that you can with your rib cage around your hip. Right, and then of course we need to go the other way. Really go for the nooks and crannies of whatever corners you're hitting there and just enjoy it. Maybe if there's an area which feels like popping or creaking sound, stay there a bit and just linger there for a while before you move on. And all right. Now, let's stand up and do a version of that cat and cow standing in front of the chair. So you can rest your palms on the seat of your chair, adjust your feet so that they're just hip distance apart and the ankles are under your hips. All right, so meaning it's not all over here, it's not all over here, it's just like a table pose. Now, notice where your tailbone is. Okay? Can you point your tailbone up toward the ceiling? And just like a while ago, open the heart area and you can even look forward. Allow the belly to drop toward the floor or seemingly dropping toward the floor. This is accompanied by an inhale. Now, point the tailbone to the back, allowing your lower back to be neutral. It's not arching, it's not rounding. Then, this time, point your tailbone to the floor, round your lower back, chin toward your chest. You can even feel your shoulder blades moving apart. And come back to the center again, point your tailbone to the back, create a neutral spine. And as you inhale, point the tailbone up, allow the entire spine to follow along. Open the collarbones wide. Center. Cow pose, point the tailbone down, shoulder blades moving apart away from each other. One last time, inhale to cow pose. You can bend the knees if this feels a lot for your hamstrings. Center, cat pose. Let's do that one more time. So you can have your knees bent or you can keep your knees long and straight. Work with your body today, all right? So, cow pose, inhale, center, cat pose, exhale. Inhale, one last. Feels yummy. And exhale. So, breathe like you're breathing through a long straw, which means that you can actually breathe long and deep. Now, bring your left foot to the back, just a little further to the back than your right foot, and then send the right foot forward, just like this. And then, maybe just a little outside of the chair, okay? And then, let's draw half circles with our hips. You know, like a smiley face with your hips. So it's not a full circle, just like what we did with our rib cage a while ago. We just want to feel yummy in our hips. So imagine drawing a smiley face from point to point. It may look weird, but it kind of feels yummy for the hips actually. And some of you may be targeting your spine here, your hamstrings here, or other body parts. Just keep drawing that smiley face. All right. Go as deep or as small of a smiley face as you can. And come back to the center again. And we'll do that on the other side as well. So notice that the feet are in different directions. But the hips are focused on facing on the chair. And then let's do the same thing. Let's draw happy face. The biggest happy face or the smallest happy face, but feel it in your hips. Really like you want to sway from side to side. Like you really want to access the nooks and crannies of your hips while drawing half moon or a happy face. I may look weird, but if you do it with me, you'll know why. All right. And just like that. Come back to the center and we'll do that couple more cat and cow. So point your tailbone up, open your heart center like you want to emit beautiful heart signals out of you and allow your belly to drop Add an inhale. And as you exhale, point your tailbone down, round the spine, chin toward your chest. Bend your knees or not, your choice. One more inhale. And exhale. Now, bring your tailbone pointing toward the center. Transfer your hands to the top of your backrest. And then we'll just allow your ears to be in between your arms. So keep your arms very active. Knees bent or keep them straight. But the choice is actually dependent on where your tailbone is pointing. Can you point your tailbone not to the floor, but to the back, allowing your spine to be in neutral? So it's not like this. If you're being like this, maybe it helps if you bend the knees so you can point your tailbone to the back. Inhale, exhale. Feel the stretch alongside your body. You can even, for some of you, may even feel a stretch in the low back. Just feel good. Now bend one knee, keep the other one straight. Try not to move the torso here. And then switch. So we're stretching even the hamstrings. The yumminess, go for it. And then switch again. You can even sway your hips from side to side. And then switch. Remember that the tailbone is pointing to the back and not pointing down. And then switch again. And then switch. Remember that the head is not lazily slumping down. Your ears are in between your super engaged and active hands. And then switch again. Breathe. And then switch. And then once you've had enough, come to stillness. You can close your eyes here or not. And then slowly bring your hands down to the seat of your chair. And we are going to roll up one bone at a time. Allow your spine to stack on top of each other. Allowing your head to come up last. How are you? Did you feel the yumminess here? I hope you did. I did. I think I needed that a lot. Now, we'll do some standing poses. We'll just go for more yumminess here. We'll just do a side bend. Bring your outer foot and take it across your inner foot, the inner foot that's close to the chair. Notice where your weight is. Is it more on the inner foot or in the outer foot? Just notice. Okay. Now, as you inhale, can you bring your outer hand up toward the ceiling? But try not to allow the shoulders to participate in this effort. Relax the shoulders down. Use this outer hip. Can you bump it out and away from the chair? But trying not to round the spine. We're just keeping, imagine that you're in between two planes here. One is in front of you and the other one is behind you. So you don't want to touch those planes. So you're really just side bending here as this hip moves away from the chair. Inhale and exhale. Now, notice where your weight was a while ago. If you didn't notice it, let's do it again. Okay? Can you bring your weight more to the inner foot, the one that's here? So let's do that one more time. Inhale, bring one hand up. And as you exhale, bump your hip away from the chair. As you bring more weight to this foot. Okay. Don't allow your neck to slump down. Just keep it here. Imagine that you're again in between two planes. Inhale here. And as you exhale, release. All right. How did that feel? I hope that felt okay. And you were actually able to create a lot of spaces in between on your side body. All right. Let's do it. Let's do everything on the other side. So again, the outer foot crosses over in front of the inner foot. And then notice, where is most of your weight? Just notice. Okay. Again, we need this hip to be bumping away from the chair in a while. Okay. And that helps you just deepen the side bend. As you inhale, bring this hand up. And as you exhale, bump this away. Bring your weight to this foot. And move away, move your top fingers away from your hips. And notice where you're feeling the stretch. Do you feel a stretch along your side ribs, your waist, your thighs maybe? Are you breathing? Breathe. And as you inhale, come back up. All right, let's do that one more time. So there's several cues and just tick them off one by one. You're creating yummy stretches in your body. Let's make the most out of it. All right. So again, bring your weight to this foot, this standing foot. That way, this one is quite light so that you can bump your hip all the more away from the chair. Okay. Yummy stretches. Yummy side bends. All right. Inhale, bring the outer hand up. And as you exhale, bump the hip away from the chair. Bring this top hand as far away as much as possible from your outer hip. Inhale. Try not to round the spine. Keep your heart area facing the front. And just enjoy the stretch. Inhale. Exhale. And on your next breath, come back up. Whew. Okay. All right. Now, we already stretched our hamstrings when we were in downward facing dog a while ago. Now, let's try to strengthen our hamstrings because sometimes maybe we have some issues with our lower back, and that's because we have tight hips, and that's because we have weak hamstrings. So let's try to strengthen our hamstrings today. So bend one knee and send that foot on top of the seat of the chair. Okay? And really think of rooting down through your standing leg. And this bent knee, pin it close to your the knee of your standing leg. All right. Imagine that you're rooting down through your standing leg and lifting up toward the ceiling through the crown of your head. All right. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, lift the foot off the chair and feel your hamstrings working. Inhale, release. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale. One last. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Try not to allow the knee to move anywhere else. Pin it close to the standing leg. And then release. All right, let's do that also on the other side. So bend the other knee. Rest the foot on the seat of the chair. And making sure that your knee, the bent knee, is close to the standing leg. Okay? So again, this is sort of a balancing pose because you're only standing on one leg. Okay? I moved a little further away from the chair just so it's only my foot that's resting on the chair. Okay? So again, we want to root down through the center of your standing foot. I'm imagining that I'm 2 to 3 inches taller, allowing my collarbone to shine as well. I'm taking a big inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift my foot off the chair using my glutes, my hamstrings, and then I'm going to release. 2 more times just like that. Inhale, grow tall. Root down, grow tall. Exhale, lift. And then inhale, release. One last time, just like that. Root down again, grow tall. Inhale. Exhale, lift. I'm using my glutes and my hamstrings. And then inhale, release. Just like that. All right, just walk that off. Sometimes we keep on stretching, but actually we need strengthening. So that's just what we did with our spine, with our hamstrings. All right. Now, I just go this way so you can see me from this point of view. So option 1 is to extend one foot here and then just bend one knee. So notice that I'm at the front edge of my chair. My tailbone is pointing down. Okay, so it's either I'm here, option 1. Option 2 is to rest your ankle on top of, on the upper part of your straight knee. Okay, spine remains tall and long. You can hold the back of the chair. As you exhale, keep the spine long and tall. Lean forward, only to a point where it feels yummy. We don't want to feel any pain. If you feel any issue here, you can microbend that. But keep the spine long and tall. Go for a yummy stretch in the hips, in the hamstrings. Keep your heart open. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades in. Inhale and exhale. Now bend the straight knee and we'll just go for a twist. All right. So imagine that you're twisting along your straight spine and you can just hold the outer foot, leg, and keep the spine long and tall so you're not rounding your spine. The spine is as straight as possible, as neutral as possible, even as you're using your muscles around your spine to keep you twisted. Just helps you undo a lot of the twisting that we did. Breathe. And then on your next breath, unwind, and we'll do everything on the other side. So extend the other foot forward. Stay on the heels, toes pointing toward the ceiling. First option is to just stay here. That way we're externally rotating this leg from the hip crease, from the hip socket. Okay. Another option is to really bring it here, even while your spine is long and tall. And notice where you're feeling the stretch. If it's too much for your hamstrings, you can microbend this straight leg, your choice, but keep the spine long and tall, tailbone pointing toward the floor. Inhale, and as you hold the back of the chair, lean forward only to a point where the stretch in any part of your body is yummy. It's not painful. Keep the heart open, squeeze the shoulder blades in. Inhale, and notice where you're feeling yumminess or where you're feeling pain. If you're feeling pain, back off a bit, back off, and then maybe just choose the other options. But breathe. Continue breathing here. Tell your nervous system you're not harming your body. You're giving it yumminess. And on your next breath, undo this pose. Bend the lengthened leg. Okay, and we'll do the twist. So keep this foot here, or maybe a while ago you were here. It's fine. We'll twist your torso around that straight and long spine. And just go for a twist that feels good for your body today. Your hands are there to support you in the twist. Maybe even helping you deepen into the twist. And notice how you're breathing. Are you breathing smoothly? Or you're having labored breathing? Can you be more mindful of the quality of your breath while you're twisting? And on your next breath, unwind from this pose. Bring both feet down. And let's do one more hamstring stretch. Okay. This time, let's bring both feet forward. Stay on the heels. Keep the toes pointing up. And for some of you, this is already a lot for the hamstrings. Stay here and just squeeze your shoulder blades in. Otherwise, you can lean forward, keep the heart open, keep the shoulder blades squeezing. Notice if you're breathing. for those who feel like they want more load or they want more challenge, release your hands. Keep the spine long and tall. Maybe your hands are here or here. As long as you're still feeling a stretch in your hamstrings. As long as you're still breathing. On your next breath, unwind from this pose. Come up, bend your knees, and release. Now, remember how we drew circle with our rib cage a while ago? Let's do one more of that, okay? Let's do 3 times clockwise, drawing circles clockwise. Again, moving, hitting those nooks and crannies that kind of feel like needs attention. Go for it. And just notice your breath. And then go the other way, of course. Other direction. And notice how this feels now. Are those or those popping areas still there? Or did it get worse, or did it get more spacious? I feel like I created a lot of space in my body. I hope you did as well. Yummy is the word. All right. And release. All right. Bring both palms close to your heart area. Let's take one big breath. And exhale, open your mouth. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale. Exhale, open your mouth. Really long exhales. One last inhale. Now, let's take another breath, but this time when we exhale, we're going to exhale through our nose. Inhale. Exhale. Keeping that sound still. Inhale. Exhale. One last inhale. Exhale. Thank you for joining me for another short and sweet yoga practice on the chair. And with a chair is my favorite prop. Helps make a lot of the poses accessible to anybody. So I hope that you can join me again and invite others as well to join us next week. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.